I'm a bad motherfucker.
Shabbat stream, where we delve into all things Ashkenazim, super brain, fighting, combating terror in all its evil ways, shapes, and forms from the Zionist perspective. Thank you, Jesus! Guys, we just had the Sabbath, the day of rest, the Christian holy day, Sunday. Saturday was the Jewish Sabbath, Shabbos, right? So I hope everyone is filled with the Holy Ghost power of the Abrahamic faiths. Yeah. So we're going to get into it today. Just when you think the Zionists can't sink any lower, they never fail to disappoint, do they? Every day is a new low, right? They are illustrating their infinite capacity for evil. That's what it is. It is a veritable bottomless pit of malevolence. And every day we expose it, right? So here we are. I'm wiped out. I'm exhausted. This is the roughest time of the week for me. But here I am, right? We're going to do this. And yes, we're going to get to a lot of things. And I've been getting some messages about Lucas and what's this stuff? You're my enemy, blah, blah, blah. If you think Christianity's a psyop. I have no idea, bro. I have no idea. You know, sometimes he says stuff that just flies out of his mouth, right, before he processes it. I don't know. He's my friend. This is not a deal breaker. I don't know what he's getting at. And yeah, it's not like we're not going to talk about it because he is somebody, right? And I've been getting messages about, hey, you think he was talking about you and Adam and blah, blah, blah. Look, I told him the same thing I told Adam. As long as you're going hard on Zog, I don't give a shit what your political affiliations are. If he wants to take shots at us, you know, that's fine. I don't give a shit. In terms of calling us his enemy, that's fucking stupid, first of all. And second of all, the whole thing about the truth doesn't matter, the truth's not important, that's another ridiculous statement, right? And yeah, we can have disagreements, and like I said, he's my friend, you know, and I'm not gonna. It's like people want to create these rifts when this is like a self-imposed foot in mouth situation for him. You know, I tried calling him up today just to tell him that, listen, I'm going to be addressing this. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to take a shot at you other than, you know, say that you said some stupid shit, right? That's okay. Everyone is allowed to say stupid shit from occasion. I still like what he's doing. Doesn't change my well, obviously, if he thinks I'm his enemy and he really believes that, then yeah, it would affect the relationship. I don't think he means that. I think he was just I think he just got carried away. That's I'm going to write it off to getting carried away. But that's it. As far as like his whole embrace of Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, I don't understand that, but I don't give a shit about his politics. As long as he's going hard on Jewish supremacy, that's it. That's my thing, okay? So he talks about what? The flat earthers, the Spurgers, the people that cause division, the people that say Christianity is a psyop or Islam's a psyop. Look, I get what he's trying to do. I get his strategy about, you know, forming an alliance between Christians and Muslims against God's chosen psychopaths. I get it. All right. But, you know, foot and mouth disease is going around, and that's it. I mean, I'm not worked up. I'm not overly concerned, you know. Do we need to have a conversation? Yeah, obviously we need to have a conversation. If he really believes that what we're doing qualifies us as an enemy, that's fucking retarded, first of all. And if truth doesn't matter, that's also retarded, right? But yeah, that's it. It's not like a big deal. People are like, oh, yeah, you know, acting like this is like the a big you know, end of the world scenario. No, it's not. It's not a big deal at all. You know, He flies off the handle. He's ranting and raving, and he probably made some poor choices in terms of the words that he used. That's all. But I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him about it. Welcome, everyone, trickling into our first space in our post-Shabbat stream. And it's a wonderful mitzvah to be here with you. If you want to say anything in terms of participation in the stream, and I know people get upset because the last stream we did over the weekend, it's one of the, there's a reason why this is one of the fastest growing spaces on the platform formerly known as Twitter, now X. There's a very good reason why this is one of the fastest growing spaces, right? Because we're real, we're not queer, and you're going to get used to it. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for having the Kako demon Yahweh's evil, the God's chosen psychopaths leading us and stewarding us and shepherding us through this troubled world. We appreciate you very much. And we're going to get into a whole bunch of things, right? Mazel tov, Israel, you're the most evil nation in history. Yeah. Took a poll. It's hands down, right? The paradigm is shifting. The matrix is shattering. And you're on the ground floor. How do you feel? How do you feel about that, world? And this is another thing why we have to take advantage of this fucking platform. Because this is a wonderful vehicle. We're connected globally right now through this space. So we're able to share information. What are you getting? What are you getting in Europe about this farmers' revolt, multinational farmers' revolt? Do you see anything in the news? But we got somebody that's going to these events in Brussels, filling us in. So it's a wonderful thing, right? The connectivity is awesome. It's a game changer. And all of their bullshit is clearly exposed right before our very eyes, right? All of these things we're going to discuss. And I got the receipts, and we got some clips that we're going to share. And like I said, there's nothing more important than we can be engaged in. This is it right now, right? And it's a revolutionary time. This is my point. It's a revolutionary time that we're living through right now. Wherever you are, in Western Europe, in Central Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East, in Africa, we are living through a revolutionary time. And the old order is breaking apart. The psychological, the cultural, right, historical, the narrative, it's all blowing up in their faces, and they don't know what to do. What's their solution? Censorship, suppression, algorithmic suppression. Is this from a point of strength and confidence and truth? No. The very opposite. It's from fear. It's from weakness. It's from lack of confidence. It's from selling the lie that's no longer being swallowed by the sheeple. You get it? So we're going to talk about the loosening grip. We're going to talk about Zionist infiltration being exposed. We're going to talk about the false narrative that they're promoting to brainwash you and to program you into being a slave of Zion. Right. Yeah. And what do? They throw fucking rocks. They call you this. They call you that. They smear you because they can't compete. They can't compete in the marketplace of ideas. They can't compete in terms of promoting their narrative over ours. What's our key? What's our secret weapon? The truth. That's all we need. Forget this nonsense. The truth doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. Now they're starting to figure it out in Europe, in the UK. They're starting to figure it out. Oh, this Keir Starmer and the Tories, they're both in bed with the Zion. No shit. Sherlock? Did you have to go to New Scotland Yard to figure that one out? Did you have to put on your sleuth hat to figure that one out? But hey, it's okay, little brother. They're figuring it out. It's happening. Thank you, Jesus. So who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's going to call in? Maybe Adam Green. Well, Lucas can't call in because he's suspended, and that's bullshit. Right? That's bullshit. He's not on this platform formerly known as Twitter, now X, because he got suspended. Why? Because the Zionists at Canary Mission chopped up and edited his fucking his rant of the day to make him look like a deranged lunatic and promoting calls for violence, which he didn't do. He was talking metaphorically, figuratively, not literally. But you don't get that if you get it chopped up, right? They can make you look like a fucking madman if they chop it up. And that's what they did. And Elon knows this, yet he still let him pull that fucking bullshit Canary Mission hack piece, hit piece. So this is what we're going to talk about today. The waning influence of not just Zionist propaganda and American empire. And they're going to, don't make no mistake, they're going to drag us down with them, right? They're going to drag us down with them. Right now, we have actively people around the world rooting against us. When was the last time the world was rooting against America? Can you recall that? When can you recall the world united against America? Huh? I'm all ears. Let me know. Let me know. Strikes, counter strikes, they want war with Iran, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's the same old fucking story. It's the same old story. They're promoting the warmongering fucking war pigs in Washington and across the media are promoting nothing but wars, nothing but aggression, this bellicose language every day, priming you for the next one. Priming you for the next one. And that's right around the corner with Iran. And they're doing everything in their power to make it happen, to bring it into fruition. And we know they're lies, and we've seen this fucking bullshit movie repeatedly, over and over. But they're not going to stop. They're like a dog with a bone. They gots to have that war. That's the final piece in their puzzle, right? Wesley Clark, 7 nations in 5 years. The ODD plan, the clean break, the white paper, the project for a new American centuries. We have the receipts. Benjamin Friedman, Baruch Hashem. We know what their plans are, right? We have the fucking template. We know what their game plan is, and we know what their prophecies say. So before we get into it, if anyone has any contributions they want to make, you know the drill. Put in a request. And folks, just so you know, right? You know, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about this now. Maybe this fucking idiot will actually show up, and I can take it up with him personally. But all the annoying comments, guys. You have no idea what I'm going through, right? In terms of financially and keeping the lights on and keeping my fucking car insured and everything else, okay? To put up with needling bullshit comments, all right? Now, the whole censorship thing and did you get a chance to speak? And look, I'm doing the best I can. I'm busting my ass because I believe in this movement. But I'm not going to put up with nonsense in terms of the comments and the little digs. Oh, you gotta be more thick-skinned. I don't need to be annoyed. I'm busting my ass as it is. I don't need the annoyance levels in terms of comments about, oh, I cut you off, I interrupted you, I didn't give you a chance to speak to denigrate blacks and call them the N-word because you're a fucking Klansman. You're lucky you got the opportunity. And you know what? You know what? That's not censorship. Okay? I cannot censor you. I can just cut you off, and that's my right. You can go on your own channel, create your own space, and you have the same opportunities that I do. If X cut you off, that would be censorship, right? So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. And your sense of entitlement is stupefying. Absolutely stupefying. And what are you doing listening to my space? Shouldn't you be out burning a cross in a field? I don't get it. You guys are still here. I don't put up with supremacy of any ilk, any stripe. I'm fighting Jewish supremacy with every fiber of my being. That doesn't mean I'm going to countenance any other supremacy. You get it? You get it, Klansmen? You guys, there's a very good reason why you guys are always the stupidest people in the room. Always. Surefire. All right. Had to get that off my chest. So as we begin, we talk about how evil the state of Israel is, and I took a poll. What's the most evil place in global history, right? National Socialist Germany. Not that I believe that, by the way, but I know this is what is out there in the ether, so I have to use it because people know what I'm talking about, and they have to respond appropriately. And it's instructive because I put it up there, and it gets a very low number, right? So that's instructive too. That's eye-opening for the enemy. They know we know. They know we know. Sodom and Gomorrah or Israel? Israel. Well, head and shoulders overwhelming. And this creeps into the ether. And people see it. And they can't unsee it. And the enemies of humanity don't want this leaking into the ether and going through this semi-permeable membrane of reality. Because it counter signals their narrative. It undoes the damage that they pour so many resources into promoting this false fucking matrix that has been imposed on us, where we're a force for good. Israel is a light unto nations. Blah, 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 blah. You will be judged by your fruits, right? That's how we decide. And I'll tell you what, the daily accounts, the massacres and the atrocities is unmasking Israel. The emperor has no clothes. Cosmic Johnson's in the house. Cosmic, I'm going to play that video, the clip that you sent, the audio from that video you sent me. Thank you. And guys, if you have interesting shit that you want to send me, it's less work for me. You want to make a contribution to the space? Send me interesting fucking clips. And please make sure that they're good, all right? Because I have very little time to waste. But it was a good clip. Why? Because it shows that they're waking up in the UK. They understand that their government is not their own. It's compromised. We're subsidizing this country. It's no small matter to be on the wrong side of history. It's not. This is going to haunt, and we're breaking it down and deconstructing it because they thought that they could hijack our reality. Just like Malcolm X said, if you're not careful, the media will have you believe the criminal is the hero and the hero is the criminal. My friends, that's where we are. That is our reality. but it's changing. We're doing something about it. And before, like I said, how long can we continue without this divergence? Just without this becoming a total schism? How long can we pretend that we're a force for good and Israel is a light unto nations? I think that time is over. I think October 7th shattered the matrix. That's what I believe. So let's go into this.
Found that there's plausible evidence Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, and the UK government has responded. The world's top court has found that there's plausible evidence Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, and the UK government has responded by suspending aid to the main humanitarian organisation supporting Palestinians. Many people have expressed shock and disbelief at this decision, and one of the only ways I feel you can understand it is if you look at the power that the Israel lobby now has over Britain's ruling party. Joining me today to discuss this is my colleague, Matt Kennard.
Good to be with you, Phil.
We've been publishing a series of articles about the Israel lobby. Last week, we focused on Labour Friends of Israel, and this week, we've switched our focus to Conservative Friends of Israel. Our colleague, John McAvoy, found that 9 Conservative MPs took money from the Israel lobby amid the Gaza genocide to go out on a trip to Israel. And they even met with Israel's president, who is someone who's named in the International Court of Justice ruling as someone who appears to be promoting genocide.
Yeah, I mean, John's story is just the continuation of the same dynamic that's been happening for decades in this country, whereby these opaque groups, because Conservative Friends of Israel and Labour Friends of Israel don't disclose their funders, these opaque groups pay for British elected politicians to go to Israel, Palestine, Israel, and then some are taken on tours of the West Bank, propaganda tours. John found that the lobby's activities have not stopped in the face of the genocide, and they paid for, Conservative Friends of Israel, alongside another group called the European Leadership Network, have taken 9 Tory MPs to Israel in the midst of the genocide and paid £20,000 to put them out there. We have actually elected politicians in this country ventriloquizing the propaganda of a foreign power, which is actually not an ally. It's a hostile country in many cases in terms of its interference in our democracy.
The way it's drawing us into these conflicts in the Middle East, confrontation with Iran, with Yemen, HMS Diamond, this Royal Navy destroyer that we've sent to the Red Sea to essentially backfill the job that Israel's Navy should be doing, came under drone attack at the weekend. There's hundreds of crews' lives on board, arguably put at risk there. So it just shows the complete kind of degree of influence that this Israel lobby is having over particularly the Conservative Party, where around 80% of Conservative MPs are members of Conservative Friends of Israel. Something I've been looking at is how this all kind of started and trying to work out who might be some of the funders. So I went to the National Archives in southwest London and I looked through, there's a whole series of Foreign Office files called the Pro-Israel Lobby. And these are notes from British diplomats in London and in Israel with their kind of encounters, meetings that they've had with groups like Conservative Friends of Israel. And I was going through them, and in the article that I've just written for Declassified Today, I found that they said one of the funders of Conservative Friends of Israel had been this organisation called the Jewish Agency, which predates the creation of the State of Israel. It's one of the kind of national institutions of Israel now. It's part and parcel of the World Zionist Organization. The Jewish Agency itself, its role has been to promote migration to Israel, and it also helps people who have migrated to join the Israeli military. And there's this fascinating document that I found from 1990 where they say it's a meeting between I think a foreign office minister and the chairman of Conservative Friends of Israel, and he says that they had to take money from the Jewish agency, and that it had become, Conservative Friends of Israel had become virtually a Likud office in London, Likud referring to what is now Netanyahu's ruling party. Are you surprised by that, Matt, that this was a source of one of their fundings? It's not the Israeli state itself, but it's kind of a parastatal organisation with incredibly close ties to the Israeli state.
Can't say I'm surprised. It's great that you found the documentation, though, because I'm not. Is that the first time that there's actually been any kind of evidence of who funds Conservative Friends of Israel?
Beyond possibly some individual kind of tycoons who've been linked to it, funding it in some shape or form over the years.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising to me, but it's great to have it on record, and it goes to show that it's not a coincidence that CFI, Conservative Friends of Israel, just come out with exactly the government lines of the state of Israel at all times. And you've seen it in the Gaza genocide, but in the previous aggressions in Gaza in 2014, 2009, 2021, they've always taken the side of the Israeli state and always ventriloquized their propaganda. They've also been a key player in destroying any British political figure who contradicts the Likudnik line. One of them is Alan Duncan, who was foreign minister from 2016 to 2019, but was foreign minister for Europe and the Americas because his appointment as Middle East minister was vetoed by Conservative Friends of Israel and Lord Polar. And he said in his diaries that the only reason he was vetoed by CFI was because he believes in the human rights of Palestinians and believes in a two-state solution, which is what the stated position of the British government is. But it's obviously not what the Likudniks want. They want Israeli control from the river to the sea, which is in their original documentation. So, yes, it's great to have it on record. Hopefully, this will spark some kind of curiosity from the mainstream media about these institutions, because we have we're an alternative media site. We're 2 reporters, just me and you, 4 staff in total. And we've done more than everyone combined to expose the reality of the Israel lobby in this country. We're inundated with...
See, it's happening, right? The reality of the Israel lobby in the UK. We've been talking about it for a long time here, especially in the United States. We're Shabbos Goy #1. Not that the Brits are too far behind, and they preceded us as being their soldiers and slaves in the 19th century when they fought their wars for them, right? In South Africa, the Boer Wars for mineral rights and gold and gemstones, or in China for the Oppenheimers and the Sassoons and the Rothschilds, and in the lost century of China, their century of humiliation. This is nothing new. It's just a continuation.
Stories, a lot of them made up, about Russian influence in this country. And you've got this lobby which is overruling prime ministers and creating whole invented scandals in this country, which they just don't touch. And I think that journalists who see your work here revealing for the first time the sort of parastatal Israeli funding of the Conservative Friends of Israel will wake some journalists up and think maybe we should have a look into this, because the only reason we're in this situation is because journalists aren't doing their job. They thrive, CFI and LFI, on their secrecy and the lack of curiosity from journalists. I think when light is shone on their activities, they'll wither.
If you're watching this and you like the work...
Guys, do me a favor. You know that this isn't Elon's favorite space on X, right? You guys understand that, and you understand the suppression that we're subjected to. Do me a favor and let's turn this thing around on them and use the algorithms against them by liking, hearting, and reposting this, please. It's very important. It's very important that we get as many people to hear this message as possible. All right, and of course, donate if you have the ability to this content if you want to promote it. It's very important that we do these kind of things. Okay, very important.
What we're doing on exposing the Israel lobby's influence in British politics. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and you can also head to our website, supporting us from as little as £3. Matt, you just mentioned someone there called Lord Polak, Stuart Polak. So in the files I found from 1990, he'd just been made the director of Conservative Friends of Israel, and he'd hold that role until 2015 when he was put in the House of Lords, and he's now the honorary president of CFI. And what I found in those files from the early 90s was that he was already rubbing British diplomats up the wrong way. One of them said that he might be dangerous. They said he was spreading poison about another diplomat and making snide remarks. And in particular, he seemed to have a campaign going against the British Consul General in Jerusalem, which is separate to the ambassador in Tel Aviv. The Consul General represents the UK in the occupied Palestinian territories. Traditionally, they've been more outspoken and critical of Israel's illegal settlement building. You'll often see them issue a statement when there is some kind of settler violence or this kind of thing. And Polak appeared to be kind of trying to undermine the Consul General, the current, the incumbent at the time, but also the files say that in general, the Israelis had an axe to grind against the fact this office even existed. And at that point, it was because he said the PLO, the official representative of the Palestinians, was not a terrorist organization, which Polak took great umbrage at. You can imagine now, the organization that they're going after is UNRWA, the UN Relief and Works Agency. And so there's just this pattern of every time there's anyone who kind of stands up to the state of Israel's aggression against the Palestinians, the lobby then swings into action to try and delegitimize them. So that's the documentary evidence I found in the National Archives. The full article is on our website.
Polak's an interesting figure, isn't he? Because he was also the person who organized Priti Patel's off-radar meetings with dozen, I think it was more than a dozen Israeli officials, including Netanyahu, who went to Israel apparently on holiday while she was a minister for international development and met all these people organized by.
Hey guys, is the audio okay? If you're listening on a cell phone, can you hear it? Can you hear the space uncorrupted? Pacific, can you give me a thumbs up if you're out there? There you are. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear everything? If everything's 5x5, please. All right, good.
Stuart Polak came back, and it was a scandal briefly, but he retained his position. There was it was a very small scandal, and in fact, they didn't name CFI, and that Polak as an individual wasn't really focused on, and he should have been. That should have ended her career. I mean, she was reappointed to another ministerial position soon after that. That is such an outrageous thing to do when you're a British minister, to go on a family holiday, which isn't a family holiday, and have secret meetings with government officials of a foreign state. But again, there is an exception for Israel on all this stuff, including the genocide in Gaza and international law. But especially in the diplomatic relationship, they get away with stuff that no one else could get away with.
Bingo. Okay. See, you see this. The light bulb is going off in the UK. Not that it's just these are the first people that have ever said anything like this. They're not, but it's gaining traction. Why is it gaining traction? Because the mask is off. Right? Reality is settling in. They've had a whole bunch of resources poured into fucking brainwashing the world and establishing this narrative, the woe is me, the persecution, the victimization, the H and the Uncle H, right? The pillars of their fucking snow job, right? This is it, what we're dealing with. We talk about the pillars of the truth community. These are the pillars of their con, because they are charlatans, right? Offering you a false narrative to buttress and to support their domination, their global hegemonic deranged messianism and prophecy fulfillment. That's what we're dealing with. Snap out of it.
A large part of the reason we are where we are, which is that we have a government which is giving completely loyal support to Israel as it conducts its genocide in Gaza, including spy flights and arms and all everything else, is because this lobby is out of control, and British ministers are not making decisions at all times in the interests of the British people and the British state. They're making them often in the interest of a foreign state, Israel specifically.
Yep. You get it? We get it. I know you get it. I know people listening get it. But it's happening, folks. This is why we have to go hard. Now is our time. The wind is at our backs. It's we have some momentum. We are moving the dial. And how do they react? No, you guys can't wake up. We have to keep you fucking stupid and fucking brainwashed and indoctrinated and programmed. And if you start to wake up, we're going to bring down the hammer of censorship on you. Because we don't like this message. We don't want people waking up and existing in their ultimate reality. We want you to we want you to be under the kosher Kabbalistic spell of diabolical disorientation. We want you to worship your would-be executioners. Oh yeah, I know who Amalek is. I know who Edom is. I know your evil plans. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
And that's because we have these out-of-control lobby groups that need to be exposed. And hopefully this will, it has to change now. If it doesn't change now, it never will.
Boom. Good job. Good job. Thank you, Cosmic. Hey, Cosmic, if you want to say something about this, because I got this from you. You sent this to me. The feeling in merry old England. I'd be interested. Anybody in the UK? Is this gaining traction? We all know what happened to Jeremy Corbyn a couple of years ago. They destroyed him because he dared have a balanced approach towards Israel Palestine. If people in the UK want to pipe in and give me some feedback, we'd certainly appreciate it. Let's go to the next clip. Those are two blokes in merry old England waking up to the reality. Cosmic Johnson, hello. It's still spinning, brother. Now you should be able to get to...
Yeah, sorry about that. Just sound problems again. Basically, Al, I'm actually working, okay, yeah. So I'm actually just listening to you, okay, yeah. So unfortunately, I can't actually speak very much. But basically, yeah, this is what's happening in England.
Okay.
They have full control of the main parties. It's unbelievable, unbelievable.
They've had, listen, I hate to break it to you, Cosmic. They've had full control for hundreds of years.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. But I mean, it's just so obvious. And for people who can't see, are just being muppets and just stupid, basically. But anyway, Al, I have to go now because I'm working, but I am listening. Okay. So, yeah, hope it's a good show. Thank you. Bye.
All right, buddy. I appreciate that, Cosmic. He's working, but listening. That's cool. Now listen to this.
It tells you is the control that Israel has over the American domestic political reality. Israel control.
Okay, so we just heard from the Brits. Now let's hear from an American.
Everything. We're not a sovereign state anymore. Israel literally has bought the American Congress and bought the American presidency and bought the American establishment. Where's the American media? I was always one of those people that sort of got a little uneasy when people would put up the the list of, media moguls in America and talked about how many of them were Jewish and how many had links to Israel. I'm like, oh, God, that's a little anti-Semitic, don't you think? Not anymore. Because the silence of the American media is deafening. The American media is standing by and allowing Israel to...
That's an important point. Because they want to drum this into your head. They want to hammer you with this philo-Semitism, indoctrination, brainwashing to condition you to where you were just like Scott Ritter said. Oh, I see these memes and these lists of media heads and ownership of media and Jewish, and I winced. It was a cringe moment because I'm thinking, that's kind of anti-Semitic. Why is it anti-Semitic? Well, you see people waking up from this. The spell is dissipating. The power of control, the mind control that they've had on the globe is dissipating.
Commit genocide, and they're not doing a damn thing about it. This should be at the top of everybody's. This should be the lead story. They should be calling out the hypocrisy of the Biden administration. They should be condemning Benjamin Netanyahu. They should be condemning Israel, but they can't because Israel owns them. Israel owns everything. And so America is going to be sacrificed on the altar of Zionism, on the altar of this Israeli state. This is all about assuaging the ego of Benjamin Netanyahu, the world's most evil man today. There's nobody in the world more evil than Benjamin Netanyahu, and he's an American friend. This is Christmas. I hope every American listening looks in the mirror and pukes, because that's what you should do when you look at your reflection, because you're an American, you stand for nothing except the death of so many people. We suck as a country.
Yep.
We've become so far off course, it's not even funny. Look, there's nothing...
Oh, Bert, you hate America. You're anti-white. No, I'm a fucking realist. I exist in the real world. I'm not lying to myself. I have seen the enemy, and it's us. Do you get that, simp? Do you understand how stupid you sound when you call me anti-American because I fucking loathe this Zionist-controlled, malevolent force murdering children? How dare you? Right? Let me break it to my Greta Thunberg. How dare you? How dare you question my fucking patriotism? You fucking simps.
To change what's happened here. We would have to physically land 100,000 Marines on the Yemen soil to secure the straits, to physically remove that. We don't have 100,000 Marines to land, and how are we going to get them that close to shore? The classic way that we're currently configured is a legacy system of amphibious warfare where we put all the Marines on one big ship, inviting that ship to be sunk. Why are we doing this? What do we hope to achieve? We will not open up the straits. We will not. This carrier battle group is a legacy concept dating back to World War II. It has no application in modern warfare today whatsoever. None. You think the Houthi are afraid of American airplanes dropping American bombs? It ain't going to change anything because now the airplanes take off from an aircraft carrier, except that it's going to be easier for the Houthi to target that aircraft carrier. Nobody's thinking through the consequences of American chest beating. We're America. We can deploy a carrier battle group. So what? No one cares anymore. No one's losing any sleep about an American carrier battle group 2 or 3. The world doesn't care anymore because it's an irrelevant military force. We're doing this because Israel wants to kill Palestinians. Let's just be straight up here. There is no military strategy for Israel anymore. They can't win against Hamas. They've already proven it. And America's told them, you got to shut this thing down come the end of the year. Okay, you got to transition to another mode of operation. So what's Israel doing between now and the end of the year? Simply slaughtering as many Palestinian civilians as possible. That's it. It's genocide. And we're the ones enabling it. We're going to veto another UN effort to bring about a ceasefire. A ceasefire. We say, no, let the Israelis kill as many Palestinians, because it's not about defeating Hamas. It's literally about slaughtering Palestinians. The Houthi have said, We want that to come to an end. We need humanitarian good. So America is going to sacrifice everything, because we're going to lose. I'm just telling you straight up, we're going to lose. We're sacrificing everything for what? What it tells you is the control that Israel has over the American domestic political reality.
Boom. Boom. That's what it tells you. Crystal clear. Think about this. We're going to go down in history as a fucking evil empire that was the pawn of organized world Jewry, and Great Britain was before us and continues in that capacity to date. We're going to go down in history as enablers of genocide, promoters of genocide, going along with a fucking genocide. And not just once. Okay? And you know what I'm talking about. In Europe, Russia, Germany. You understand what I'm saying here. But right now, second month of the new year, 2024, in these here Zionist states of America, we are on the wrong side of history, and we are the evil empire. Dun 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 dun. Right? Play the evil empire music from Star Wars whenever you see Biden or Netanyahu. You know why? Because the Houthis are the rebels and the Palestinians. Right? So think about this. What happened after the International Court of Justice handed down their thing, the trial is going to continue. Israel is culpable in a genocide. There is grounds to prosecute Israel for genocide. What happened after that ruling? What happened the next day? Did we cut our funding for Israel? No, we're proposing another $14 billion to the fucking parasite state. No, but you know what happened after that ruling came down last week? All of a sudden, UNRWA is part of Hamas, and they get their funding cut from a lot of Europe, the American, the UK, and many Western European nations. Not all of them, thank God. Think about how fucking cynical that is. They don't get their way, so in their spiteful, fucking vicious revenge, they cut the funding for UNRWA, and they make up this phony baloney that they had members involved in the attacks of the 7th. Well, why were you holding on to this information for 4 months? Why do we only get it disclosed after Israel suffers a catastrophic defeat in the International Court of Justice? I mean, if you can't see this for what it is, you're a fucking idiot. You're a dupe. You're a lemming. You're probably a evangelical Zionist Christian or an Israel firster, or just have your head totally up your ass. Those are the only available possibilities. That's it. Let's go. I see the people want to participate in this now web. Just make a request. Orhan. My friend Orhan in Norway. Orhan. Welcoming. Orhan, go ahead. You gotta turn your microphone on.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, sir.
I can go ahead.
Yeah, so
How are you, buddy?
yeah, I'm good. How about yourself?
It's rough, man.
Yeah.
It's rough. I'm not 100%, but I got to do this. It's more important. I have to do this. You can hear me blowing my nose and shit. I'm fucking exhausted, but enough about me.
All right. Well, so I've been mulling over this issue, and I've been in a lot of different spaces. speaking about these same topics, and a lot of it always, evolves around solutions. What can we do other than spreading information? So I've been racking my brain trying to really find an approach to all this, and I think I found something that has the possibility to really bear fruit, unlike anything else, and I haven't seen it suggested anywhere else. So I'm going to present the argument then that if we were to, in Europe and in each of our nations, and the same in the United States, if we were able to do activism and change things in the judicial system legally to outlaw and ban circumcision itself, the genital mutilation of children, if we were able to create laws and enforce laws that not just ban but punish severely those that perform an entirely religious ritual that has nothing, there's no medical rationale for it. It's purely religious. It all goes back to the Abrahamic faiths. But the downstream effects and the societal effects on the groups of people that do this practice, I think would be enormous. I mean, in the first place, like here in Norway, we have laws against genital mutilation, but they've managed to lobby through exceptions for males, for religious rituals. So, and this would be primarily the Jewish community or the Muslim community, which also practices this. Now, on the face of the whole thing, it seems like it might not seem like a big thing, or how do you call it? Like it would have a major impact, but I really believe it would. I mean, if you really dig into it and analyze and look at what the possible effects, just the ripple effects throughout society, and then especially as a vector towards these specific groups of people that have this as a major cornerstone in their religion. And so like in Norway, where the punishment for genital mutilation is somewhere between 6 to 15 years. Well, that's a beginning. I would argue for even worse. In my mind, genital mutilation of children is a crime against humanity. I don't think there's any other way around it. I think it's one of the worst things that, the worst violations our species can do against ourselves. And if you were to work this through lobbying, politicians and legislation, I mean, just imagine yourself, who in their right mind, who is a healthy human being, who is not a gruesome, terrible human being, who would argue for circumcision, for genital mutilation? I mean, who would even dare to do so in publicly? So I believe that this is something that just maybe slipped by most people's radars, that might have just a tremendous impact on the redemption of our societies, the redemption on our world. Because what could be a more heroic and greater cause that anybody could get on board with than saving our children? Save the children, protect the children. I mean, the most conservative to the most radical would, I mean, healthy people would just recognize it immediately. And you could never, if you were to enact laws banning this, nothing would ever happen to innocent, normal, healthy people in a society with harsh punishments for genital mutilation, because it never even occurs to healthy people. It's only sick, depraved people who do this shit. So it would always be fair and it would always be just, but it certainly would start a movement and start the mopping up of one of the primary forces and movers, the trauma, the damage, and the reasons for why we are in this situation today, I believe.
All right, how does putting anti-circumcision laws on the books decrease or eliminate or ameliorate their influence?
All right. Well, first of all, the moment that you ban or stop the practice, you would immediately start producing untraumatized baby infants. You would start producing more healthy, because we know the damage that it does, and we've talked about how it's hard to measure, but we know that trauma is a cornerstone in how the application of the rest of the mind controlling factor with these doctrines. So they're coupled together. So one of the things that happens if you were to enact these laws that would stop this trauma from occurring in the first place, it would cause the healthy development of human beings instead of this disrupted, broken, the effects that we know are inherent in the practice of circumcision. So on one hand, because what happens if you look at and listen to some Jewish peoples, and the Jewish people, trust me, they would thank the world for doing this, for moving in this direction. Because when you listen to Jewish people who have decided to not continue in this tradition of circumcision with their children because of their own realization, their own experience, and so on, and the testaments that are available in the world to those have broken the chain of this vile practice, and how on the other side of that, now you start producing more healthy, more what can you say, more put together, a total and a redemption of the damage done through the generational trauma itself can begin to repair. And I think this has been shown. And if you ever find people who are in this situation, you can speak to these people and they will tell you flat out. So that is one point. Another point of this is in itself, so if you just imagine what would happen in society, considering that the laws of circumcision demand that the mitzvah take place on the 8th day. Well, just like laws, for example, of pedophilia are also, if the people who practice circumcision and genital mutilation, they would have to take their children abroad to another country with this practice, but you would have retroactive laws where they were punished were they to do so when they come back, if they are citizens of that nation. Meaning, this could be a decoupling from the dual citizenship. If they wanted to continue this religious practice, they would have to settle in a country and stay within that country and not hold dual citizenship, because that would represent punishment in the country of whatever dual citizenship was held with another country, if that makes sense.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you, Aryan. The sexual mutilation, circumcision, banning it, outlawing it, making it illegal. I'm with you 100%.
Okay, great. So, and the reason, of course, so when this first hit me, I feel that there is much. There's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack, and much more than. And of course, this is why I wanted to bring it up in a context like this, like with your space, Albert, where we have the possibility to discuss it and hash it out. Because I mean, I'm just opening this up, and that's why I'm bringing it up for everybody to put their collective minds into this and just see I know there's more possibilities and many angles of approach here, because this is so.
Aryan, do you remember the proposals they had in Iceland a couple of years ago? You remember what happened there?
Yeah, I don't. I know what you mean, but I don't remember exactly clearly what the whole process was.
They were going to do this. They were going to do it with circumcision, and the Jewish lobby ape shit and threatened to basically the ADL and organized Jewry basically put the boots to them. So they didn't do it.
Right. And okay. And that's great. This is a great point, because that just goes to show you how on target this idea is, because it's so central to the doctrine. So if you were to have a movement and you like a giant movement and a push in society where it was, on television, debates, just politicians held to account, needing to answer where they're supposed to defend, when it's brought up. I mean, who in their right fucking mind is going to defend the continued practice of this in 2024? I mean, no honest, no healthy human being would ever. I mean, it just seems to me like it would be political suicide for anybody. And this is why I think they're so quick to jump at shutting all this stuff down. Because, like I say, man, if you look into it, you go into Genesis and go into the whole chapters where all this stuff is built on the genital mutilation factor, where this is the covenant that everything is promised, and all the horror and death and destruction that flows from this disgusting, inhumane practice against the weakest, the most vulnerable of our species, the babies. When they need protection the most, this is what's done to them. There is no argument. There is no argument from sane individuals, healthy individuals. And I believe there are so many ways in which.
Aryan, what's interesting here? Aryan, can you hear me? Aryan, can you hear me? Here we go, folks. Okay, I can't hear you, but you can hear me. Okay. What's interesting is that there is no moral argument. There's no fucking medical argument. There is no argument that makes any sense, that's real, that's genuine or authentic, against outlawing circumcision. Yet they show their power by hiring paying off these fucking medical experts and people that are like, oh no, it has hygienic utility and it's better and you're healthier, and all of these people, right, that they have in organizations and industries to support it and to say that it's not that kooky, really, right? Yeah, I can't hear you. Okay, let me add you back on here. Brother B will be next, or you can continue. Brother B, what do you got? Aryan, I'm not done with you. Just stay with us. Go ahead, Brother B.
Oh, good morning. Good morning, Al. Good morning, chat. Good morning, Space Cadet. So yeah, I was listening to the conversation. First of all, Haagen-Dazs, everybody, Haagen-Dazs. I mean, Mazel Tov. But I was thinking about, like, in this country, we don't allow female, like the Muslims over in, I think it's like North Africa, they do the female circumcision where they remove the clitoris of the woman. Is that, we don't allow that in this country, right, for religious purposes. So why?
that's not a widespread Muslim thing, but Muslims, if you want to comment on that, you're more than welcome to address that. But go ahead.
No, that's. I was just trying to stay on topic. I got some other things I want to say, so I'll come back later. But that I was just trying to stay on topic.
Okay, stay with us, Brother B. Hang in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me again? I had to drop out.
Now I can hear you.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'll just, if it happens again, I'll just drop back in and drop back in. So, well, and so it just seems to me, and we have what Brother B said, we have the same in Norway. We have laws against the genital mutilation of women, but they have made exemptions from that law for what is called purely ritual circumcision. We have an entire law on the books that specifies how it's done and the consent that needs to be given and all this kind of stuff. And it's barbaric. I mean, they got it on the books from 2014. And my idea then is to overturn all these laws. All these laws, change them, and considering this a approach where if you were to put all your efforts into creating a movement to do this, first of all, there would be no greater cause. You would always have justice on your side. It would be a heroic venture because you always hold the moral high ground. There is no argument against it. And at the moment somebody would try to argue against it, they would, reveal themselves for their true nature, which would also be beneficial because the people who are sick and corrupted in this way, they would out themselves. And of course, considering the counterproductive actions of many of these that we've talked about in the past, these activists that go out and do, they do just morally reprehensive activism online and out in the streets that normal, regular people can't get behind. They might be well-intentioned, and because they don't know what to do, they're doing things, maybe attacking some of these religious people, or I'm not going to mention specific names, but you might have seen the videos that some of these activists do online with little kids and stuff. It's not morally right. It's the wrong approach, and that can be argued in so many ways. And this is why this approach, where you would work legislation, talk to people, save the children, you would have arguments that is instinctively there for everybody, and the core of the benevolent society, the good people, the middle class, all the people that you would need to go along to heal society and heal the world. And I think there's many facets.
That's their job. That's their job, Aryan. Their job is to heal the world, to be a light unto nations. How are they doing? How are they doing with that
Tikkun
job?
Olam, right?
It's so frustrating and insufferable, right? Their cynicism and it's just a malignancy, a malevolence that is pernicious and just overwhelming. You just want to break free. You just want to, you want to hit the reset button. You can stay with us, Aryan. I'm gonna add Ozzy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ozzy.
Yes, shalom, assalamu alaikum, as we say. And this female militarization, or whatever that you call it, is cultural. I don't know who does this shit. I've never seen shit like this. It doesn't happen in my neck of the woods, but
I think that's sub-Saharan. I think that's sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, and it's cultural issues, And if you look at the ribeyes, they bite the dick of a children in New York, in America, and they give them STD. Why is it one good for the goose and one good for the gander? It's cultural issue. At the end of the day, religion is a different, yeah. But if you got faith, there's always a covenant that we all have, all human beings. I believe all of us, and there's no compulsion with God, right? Each one of us have our own, we know what's right and wrong. We all have the same thing regarding our children, regarding the Holy Land, regarding what's right, what's wrong. We all know. So there's no one that can just chat shit of what we have been woken up to. Yeah? And we are all smart cities, FEMA camps, the vaccine, you know, NASA, you know, they all got their fingers in every pot. Yeah? The Libby X, the submarine, the 6-day war. You can just have to just look at it. The immigration, this flooding, the mercenaries, the child trafficking, the human trafficking. Look, stop watching.
The organ harvesting, the normalization of pedophilia, lowering the age of consent, hypersexualizing children, pornography, snuff films, organ harvesting, and the rest. It's literally overwhelming. It's an overwhelming, pernicious malevolence. Go ahead.
And we're the fathers, and they took us out of home. You know, the mom and dad makes the community, and they took it out and made the corporations. Yeah, so you got to realize we're all in the same boat. It's all, we have the same enemy. We are meant to, if we pull the hairs out of each other, we're playing into their hands. Whereas the nationalism, when there's all of this or whatever, the women against men, when there's feminists, all these dramas, we are all playing into their hands. It's a bloodbath.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's why I cut Lucas a lot of slack, you know, and give him a pass when he talks stupid shit, because he's doing a good job exposing Jewish supremacy, and that's the bottom line. That's the most important thing. Let's go to Sapien. Sapien, hello.
Hello, Albert. Good morning. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention, for example, when you are not sure about something, don't mention, for example, I think Brother B mentioned that in North Africa they practice female circumcision. That's not true. And it's, you know, some habit and some, you know, traditional and cultural habit. Even some Christian nations in Africa do that. So it's not related, you know, Islamic or anything teaching. Male circumcision it is. And also, if you don't have, like, you have to, there is also health benefits of circumcision. There is a lot of health benefits. For example, it decreases. Not really. Okay, let me finish.
Yeah, there is a health hygiene.
Okay, let me finish.
Guys, Sapien.
Yes.
Bro, I'm going to give you as much time as you need, but when you say something that's obviously false, I'm going to.
It's not false, but that's I agree. So listen. Are you a doctor, Albert? You are not, right?
You can respond.
Okay. Exactly. So look into research. There is article. Go to journals, medical journals. Okay, not me. Go to medical journals and look it up. So the decreased risk of sexual transmitted infections, decrease the risk of urinary tract infections. It reduces also penile cancer. So, but this is not also the issue that there is also a lot of society. Let's say, okay, we'll ban it. There is also a lot of, you know, society have a lot of problems. For example, this is saying a boy, he can be a girl. We can just give him a female hormone and vice versa. There's all this, you know, there's more. There's children sex trafficking. There's a lot of issues in society. So, okay, we'll say we'll ban circumcision. Will this end the Jewish supremacy? I mean, seriously, you know, you have to be, you know, think, you know, bigger than this. I mean, okay, well, let's ban it. How this will stop, you know, Jewish supremacy? It doesn't. So think, you know, seriously and with the real, you know, thing that will help to end the supremacy, which is first, as Albert is doing, spreading, you know, the truth, or, you know, awakening, so more people can learn about, you know, what's going on and what's happening. So that's the first step.
I think. Said it would end it.
All right, hold on a second, Sapien. I'm Brother B, I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to let Orhan respond, because, you know, this is his topic. Go ahead, Orhan.
Yeah, thank you. I never said it would end Jewish supremacy. That is preposterous. I think it would have a tremendous impact on the influence that it has, and the ripple effects and downstream effects of just that alone. And of course, you bring up the typical arguments that don't justify the damage, the intervention that it is, the permanent changes. I mean, you could argue from any standpoint that, you know, the hygienic and the transmission, there's not enough supporting evidence that contributes to do so much good that it outweighs the bad and the negative effects of
Sapien.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on a second. Who controls what gets published and what's promoted in terms of the narratives by, let's say, our friends in the pharmaceutical healthcare business industry?
I know there is, you know, there's some Jewish, big, actually,
Some?
Jewish influence.
Do you think there's some?
No, that is big. That is big. I agree. But I'm saying there is, there is medical journals. You know, it's not, for example, there is, professors. It's not only one person who publish. They provide facts. They provide the studies. So it's not. This is a medical journal.
Similar to the facts that we got about COVID for the last 4 years.
I know where you're going, but
like that?
We cannot deny all medical journals, integrity, and say, okay, they don't,
Why not?
All the research, medical research is, all hoax? You mean all the medical, research about, different procedures we do, all different. So there is no need to study medicine in this case?
Okay, go with your own.
No, I'm not saying that.
And also, what I wanted to mention that Orhan mentioned, there is, permanent change. Which one you think is worse? Permanent change when we give, hormones to children and do this, gender affirmation, changing their gender completely, or circumcision? Which one is worse? And for example, let's take France. France is a secular country. They don't, and still they push in this for, in the kindergarten, like for the children as young as 5, they teach them about this, and so it's not only, there is more problems in society, as I mentioned.
Bad, sir, but that doesn't negate the other thing. I mean, it's not the one or the other.
Okay, but which one is worse, brother? Which one is worse?
It's not one or the other. Both are terrible and should be banned and illegal.
Okay, let's say we ban circumcision. We have, as I said, more serious problems in societies, in the Western societies, and all in the world. But Westerns more. Look, the moral decay in Western societies. It's completely, fucking unbelievable.
I agree. But the way you're presenting that argument, like, well, let's keep circumcision because the other fucking horrible thing about drugging children and changing their sex is terrible. So that justifies the other one.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, for example, Muslim. I'm not pushing circumcision into all the world. But in the other hand, you see all the secular Westerns. They want you to liberate all the nations. They want them to accept LGBT, push LGBT. For example, a flag player in in Europe, and how soccer is promoted in Europe. They ban a lot of players who just didn't want to put the LGBT thing on their armband.
And it's interesting how.
What I'm saying, they're pushing for that more than So there is we can see clearly which agenda is trying to be promoted and pushed into the society, and which one has high risk. They want to remove all the values and moral values from our next generation. They're teaching about this. They want to feminize the males, masculinize the female. This what do you call it, feminist movement. They want to, that's their agenda, which is happening. So look at how the women right now, how look the men right now. That we don't have no men at all. I mean, they are just guided by their
all.
female.
Yes, I agree, but I believe those things are tied together, sir. Because once you have a society that is normalized, just look at the situation that we've created in the world, where it's normalized in society to mutilate the genitals of babies. It's just their everyday practice that nobody. In the meantime, it's a sick, disgusting, perverted thing. It's causing problems where you need not have problems. That is evil when you're introducing.
What's your problem? For example, I'm circumcised. I never had any problem during my life. I know all Muslim, people in, male in the Muslim countries, they don't have any problem with it. I wasn't traumatized. I never have. What's the issue of, you said the problem, but the issue if I change my gender, it's irreversible. I cannot go back. This doesn't hurt me at all.
Also, that's the argument.
Okay, what's gonna add to me? It doesn't hurt me at all. I have no, zlich, zero problem, health problem regarding to that,
Sapien, would you have a problem if whoever did your
No, it's a health problem. It's a health problem.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wish people would just know how to, give and take. You're gonna get as much time as you need. Okay? Would you have a problem if...
Less is more. You're right, Albert. Just take it easy, people. We can't do anything over there. Just take our time. Learn from each other.
Relax. Take a breath. I'm going to give you as much time as you need. When you run over people, first of all, it's poor decorum. Nobody can hear. It's just, come on. I get it. You're impassioned. Now, would you have a problem if the person that did your circumcision sold it to a homosexual as chewing gum?
This is completely. I mean, where did you get this? I mean, they do this in Muslim countries. Where did you read this? I mean,
would you have a problem with that?
I mean, of course, I would have problems with that, but it's not happening in Muslim countries. That's the Muslim circumcision. It's not like that. I don't know what you get in this story, but
What it means, you should not be triggered. Just take it easy, man. Come on, let's have freedom.
Brother B has his hand up. You're being patient, Brother B. Go ahead.
All right, Brother B in the house. Yeah, this is a good exercise for me to practice decorum and self-control. Let me tell you, because there's so many times I want to butt in and say something, so that's why I take notes. But I wanted to apologize to my Muslim brothers. I misspoke. Because I did an internet search, and yeah, it says there's no evidence in the Quran or any of the other, but it does say
it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing. Tribe.
So my point wasn't going to throw shade on the Muslims or anything like that. I was just making the point that if this in our country, United States of America, it does not allow female mutilation because of cultural or religious or anything like that. So why do they allow it for the males? Can
I quickly answer that? Because it is hygienically, the male one is different, but the women, they have more rights. I mean, they are moms first. Don't forget that. They are sisters, they are wives, they are daughters. So at the end of the day, we do. I mean, the kind of crimes that happen, OnlyFans, the rape shit. Listen, these girls have moms and dads. They have a mom, they have a father. This is someone's wife, someone's daughter, At the end of the day, we're meant to be collectively accountable for any blood clot shit. And a pedophile doesn't come in one shape, We all know, they come in different shapes and sizes. And the world is not just black and white. The more that we're pulling hairs at each other, you can see the shit that's happening every minute right now. Right now, there's shit that's happening right now. And we need to be accountable for each other, because it's our tax money. We're meant to spend more than we earn. We're meant to earn more than what we spend. And it's all these fucking people who are taking usury and taking a father out of the house and taking a brother out of the house, taking the men out of the house. And this is what the drama is. Because daughters are daddy's girls. Facts. Yeah? Sons are mommy boys. Facts. And you need the mom and dad to teach you both terrible manners. So at the end of the day, this is what makes the community, no corporations. We need to. The police are meant to protect and serve us. No corporations. This army, the foreign policy should not be fucking in another country. Where's that money going? Where's my money going? Why am I spending money to India and they're going to the moon? The fucking richest motherfuckers that take the piss out of people. Like, listen. Old people can't even look after their own. They can't even look out. You mean we have to pay tax to be born and pay tax to be dead? Listen, we have the same fucking enemy. It's not about Jewish people. It's not about Christian people. It's not about Muslim people. It's all about corporate fucking rations. The Zionist scumbags. At the end of the day.
Got it. Attaboy, Ozzy. Appreciate that contribution. Go ahead, Aryan, and then Brother B, and then I want to continue. Go ahead, Aryan.
Yeah, thank you. No, so I wanted to bring it up because I think this is there is a lot of potential here that if it needs to be brought up in the sense that if we could get as many people talking about this issue and starting to go through how this would impact, what type of a strategy this would be, and what type of an impact and difference it could actually make, because I think there is a lot. I think, in this whole, so it's very important to get people talking about this specifically. And, considering this is such a major part of where everything else comes from and everything else that happens. And, again, this is, there would not, but it shouldn't exist in the first place. It just shouldn't exist at all. So even if you believe that it's not substantially impactful in, a revolutionary way, where I see that it could have a revolutionary impact, it's still a cause that everybody could get behind because it should not exist. It's either way, it's a benevolent cause, and it's something that would never ever punish normal, healthy people. Only people who engage in this sick behavior. So any law and punishment, no matter how harsh you would push for it, it would only touch those who are guilty. That is the beauty of any activism or this cause, and that as a strategy moving forward.
It's definitely a righteous cause. I want to get past the circumcision debate now. We spent an hour on it. Go ahead, Brother B. You're welcome.
Oh, I wanted to just clarify. Yeah, I'm not for the circumcision, either female or male. I was just trying to bring up the point that they don't allow it for the females. Why, and when they do it, what I understand about it, and please, I'm open to correction, is they do that so they won't, over in certain cultures, so the female will not feel any pleasure during sex, if I'm right. So if it's like that, circumcising the woman, the same as maybe for the man too. We don't know. We've been.
I'll tell you this is done by the Saudis, the Zionists, and these are the Wahhabis, and all of these lot. And these lot were doing genital mutilation on women. It's not meant to be doing that, and I've never seen shit like that. So this is cultural issue.
It's a cultural thing. Yeah, it's a cultural.
I understand. That's why I apologized when I mentioned Muslim when I first said it. I misspoke. I did an internet.
You're a good man. You're a good man for coming in and clarifying your statement. You don't want to offend anyone. Thank you, brother. Let's move on.
Thank you, Brother B. I just wanted, because I'm from North Africa, so that's why I said that.
May I say just one more thing? I want to go and I'll end it at this. The other side of the argument, though, is I'm thinking if we did ban it, would there be a back alley circumcision thing, like with abortion? How they banned abortion when abortion was banned, they were doing
to ban it.
That was just a point that came to my mind.
Listen, you would not be able to ban it in the West or at all, because the organized world Jewry won't allow it. So basically, in the absence of a transformational revolutionary change where people took ownership of their sovereignty and wouldn't allow the Jewish lobby and their influence to dominate, it's not going to happen. So it has to be part. It has to be part of the revolution. After the revolution, this can happen. Okay, not before.
Right. I'm gonna be I'm gonna listen while I go exercise. I just wanted to just make a point to the guys that I just became a sacred scarab with Albert on Odyssey, and this is like a value for value type thing that we got going on here that Albert's doing. He's putting his time in. If anybody is able, willing, and feels they're getting any value out of this content, to give them a love offering, as they say in the church. But that's about it, Albert. I'll be listening. I'm going to go do exercise and all that. All right.
Thanks for the plug, Brother B. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll put in a link now since Brother B mentioned it. If you can help, if you like the content, if you enjoy the content, if you want to keep this thing coming on the regular, right? Because I gave you guys my strategy. I was going to give it a month, see if I can get this thing off the ground. It's getting off the ground, but I'm not nearly there, right? And I'd like to be there. So if you have the ability, if you believe in the movement, and you have the capacity to donate to keep it going, I would appreciate it. I'm going to drop a link right now, and now we're going to shift, right? Because we're talking about the problem and what the potential solutions to this problem could be. It's not all about pissing, kvetching and commiserating about the fucking world of shit we exist in, and we're all slaves of bonded slaves into kosher servitude, right? We want to break free of the shackles, right? We want solutions. So let's listen to this to get you in that mode.
Mainstream, there are very, very few ways of telling the big story. And what we've got on this alternative press group that we talk to every day is maybe 100,000 people max, possibly a little more. But when you get out into the mainstream with your message, you can contact or be in touch with hundreds of thousands of people that have never heard these messages before. And that is why we've been asking people to become proactive at possibly starting up candidacies for themselves. We may have got a slow start on it, but there are always other cycles ahead of us. And so we're going to talk to Jim again about some of his ads.
You want to say something? Go ahead. Before we start.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. Yeah, I just want to ask Orhan, what's his view on abortion?
Orhan, I can't hear you. Are you speaking? Okay, it says you're speaking. Go ahead. Okay, so he had to drop out to come back in. Oh man, what a pain in the ass this is. It's unbelievable, right? We have less than 50 people in this room.
No, it's fine. It's fun, but I like you. I've been listening to you a couple of times and all that. I put a couple of receipts regarding the anyway, religion is a division, and we all have to have faith. That's my bottom line. We're all human beings. We all have a position to play in this world. We're all in the same boat, in other words. So It's good, though. I believe that we are all one. I believe we're all one. And there is good and bad in all of it. There's these fuckers they're like a devil. There's another being on this earth, right? There's beings that are called devil or Satan or Shaitan or whatever. These ones, Aladdin. Aladdin, he gets the lamp and he does the magic lamp and he does 3 wishes, and then you have to get a wish back, and then he will say, "Oh, I want the Twin Towers."
Right.
Shit like that. Shit like that. So there's, do you see what I mean? The devil doesn't kill people; he weaponizes humans to kill people, and there's good and bad in both of us. Yeah, and we're not meant to trade with the magic and tricks. We all have a creator. We all know God. Each one of us, we all know. We all have blood on our hands. Even if someone has had blood on their hands, at least they can repent. But the main thing is this idol and Sodom and Gomorrah positions that they play. So once you compare these kind of things, these little things. Once you add the dots, compare the dots, and this is how amazing it is, how fascinating we all are. And life should be objective. It's to be a learning from each other. I'm not the cleverest, I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, but it's good to be objective. What's that called?
Okay.
Discord.
All right, Ozzy, thank you for that. Let's
But
go
everything
back
needs a receipt, doesn't it? So I put a couple of receipts on the nest.
Okay, appreciate you. Let's go back to Orhan, and then I want to move on. Go ahead, Orhan.
Yeah, to Sapien's question. No, in general, I'm against abortion unless it's medically indicated or in a situation where you had a rape or some case that led to pregnancy. But in general, I'm not for abortion, no.
Yep, I would echo that. It's when the mom's life's in the risk, and then that's the only time. And it's very rare the mom would choose to take her life for a baby. So yes, that's the only time, and it's minimum 1%, tiny dot percent that will ever happen. So abortion, I'm very against.
Go ahead, Sapien.
Yeah. So thank you. I agree. So thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. All right, guys. All right, let's go back to this because this is important, right? I'm sharing my journey with you guys, and if you have anything, if you have a comment or a thought you want to pass along, go ahead and request. If you're not speaking, please have your microphones turned off.
Put together. And first, Jim, I want to welcome you, and I'd like you to start off, if you would, with your history of running for office and how it was that you came upon the idea of doing this.
Okay. Hello, Daryl. Basically in the 70s, when I was just getting out of college and a little bit beyond that, when I was in my mid-20s, it just seemed obvious. I was involved then with the John Birch Society, who I'm sure most of the people have heard of, and they actually woke me up to the fact that we had some background forces manipulating things, but their entire strategy to this minute, 30 years later, is just educate. Well, I'm not against education, and neither are you, but it seemed to me in my mid-20s, somebody's got to go in and try to actually start a movement to government. While the John Birchers and everyone was really, as far as I look at it now, they were taking some of the best people out to meet.
All right, here we go again, guys. They have this ability to drop 50 people like flipping a switch. We just had 90 in the room. Now we're back down to like 40, right? So, or 50. They have this ability. So do me a favor, guys. All we want to do is share the truth. Wake people up from
it's done.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor, guys. Do me a favor. Heart the space. Repost it. Let's shout it from the rooftops. Okay. They're doing their gay ops, their suppression algorithms, and target my spaces. You guys see what we go through with the kosher hoops we have to jump through. Please, it's important.
I get targeted all the time. Don't worry, I've already done it.
El Snorko.
Hello. Why do you wear that funny hat? Hi, Albert.
Hey, how are you?
Good man. Why do you wear that funny hat?
What funny hat? The little hat?
Yeah, no, the one in your profile pic, the Egyptian one.
Oh, because you don't know, I'm an illuminist. I'm a Freemason. I'm a Satanist. You didn't know that?
Holy shit! You're being recorded, dude. Be careful. You're a Satanist. Is that legal?
A Satanist? No, dude. I'm having fun. Are you
Satanism was banned in 1835.
Bro, I'm making fun of idiots that comment.
I'm making fun of.
Yeah, I'm making fun.
It's called reverse psychology.
Of the.
I'm on. You and I have the same humor. Respect.
My man.
We could all play.
I gotta remove your mic because.
Okay, I'll step down. Step down.
You go ahead. Go ahead. I just don't.
No, like, I'm actually.
I don't like people, constantly commenting on everything. You gotta be judicious in the way you use your microphone. Go ahead.
Well, and the most annoying thing is someone will come on and say, "Hey guys, what are we talking about?"
Right.
So you don't do that. What you do is you try and add to the conversation, and I just find you guys one of the most interesting places so far. So I'm going to step down. Listen, thank you.
Don't step down. I'm not done with you. Don't step down. Yeah, if I want you to co-host, I'll give you a co-host moniker and status.
Oh, dude, you are definitely on some watch lists, so I don't feel comfortable co-hosting. I'm barely comfortable listening here, dude. I don't have a VPN.
I'm not asking you to co-host. I'm talking about the people that want to chime in after every comment. So anyway.
Oh, I got you. My bad.
So anyway,
my bad.
Yeah,
my bad.
You're talking about the profile pic, and it's amazing how people just I had this one guy, this one Christian, who was like, "You have snakes in your head. You're a Satanist. You're an Illuminist. You're a Freemason, right? Oh, why should I listen to you?" It's like, it's amazing how people get wrapped up in these like quasi conspiracy truth movement fucking theories, and it's about.
Does it get old? Does it get old?
It gets old.
Do you get tired of talking about this shit?
Well, I get tired of talking to people that don't understand, not about spreading the truth.
Well, the problem of the format is you're a funny guy and you put a lot of humor in it, which is incredibly needed for such a serious subject. But on the other hand, it is incredibly serious. Like, the world's on fire.
It is.
And people that don't care about that, I don't trust them. I don't want them near me or in my country.
It is.
Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
You're right. Good job, El Snorko.
It's awkward, dude. It's the ultimate awkward situation in the history of the world. But amen, and thanks for what you do.
Appreciate you, brother. Corn Pop, go ahead. Hello. Corn Pop. Okay, I gotta add you again.
Is it the official corn pop that came out of Biden's mouth?
Yes, it is.
It's not letting me. Corn Pop. It says the bad.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit